Greetings, my name is Ernest Hines, and this is my final project. I would like to start by talking about Henry Louis Gates Jr.'s NPR video titled Africa's Greatest Civilizations Have Been Suppressed, and Henry Louis Gates's video, Africa's Greatest Civilizations, Empires of Gold. Inside the NPR video, we are introduced to this concept that Africa is a country that is stated by Western philosophers, mainly Hegel, that Africa is this continent that has no history, no movement, and no greatness. Gates, of course, challenges this with the reality of what was by introducing us inside Empires of Gold to Manu Musa, the 14th century ruler of Mali, and his legendary pilgrimage to Mecca. And on his way to Mecca, he stopped in Cairo, and as history unfolds, he spends so much money there that he literally just crashes the local economy because of the unsettling amount of gold that he has spent there, disrupts the trade and inflates all the prices. This is just one bit of evidence of how history has been distorted and has been covered up and has been misshaped to cover the lies, reduce the lies that have been used to justify colonialism. We then move to Timbuktu, a city that was been shrouded in myth, and Gates then goes and walks the streets of the city and uncovers the truth of what was by introducing us to the great libraries that have been lost to history inside Timbuktu. We see a city not of myth, but a capital of books and learning and ideas and trade. The truth we come to understand is that Africa's history was indeed stolen. The NPR video gives us the crime itself and illustrating that, the burial did happen. But the Empire of Gold video shows us that there is evidence to suggest otherwise. The irony of it all is that the very gold spent by the nations in Africa during this time, in this medieval era, and trade with the European nations, it became the very basis of their economic coins for trade. These same countries that fueled their economy are the same ones they then turned and said were uncivilized. Next, I would like to talk about Gates's Black in Latin America, Mexico and Peru, The Black Grandma in the Closet, and America Unfiltered, the documentary by Horatio and Carril, Portraits and Voices of a Nation. We see a clear contrast in most of what is going on in these two films. Inside the Black Grandma in the Closet, we see a move towards having a centrality, having this one people concept, and forgive me for mispronouncing the name, presented by Jose Vasconcelos. Sorry for butchering that. That presents the concept of the cosmic race, meaning to have a mixing of people. It talks about basically distancing themselves from their heritage, this trying to move away from their blackness and see it as something that needs to be buried yet once again, that can't be celebrated. Even though we see tapestries in the documentary illustrated in Peru, where we see people from African descent depicted in everyday life, this is still something that the people seem to want to move away from. We then move to America Unfiltered, where we see the individual nature displayed in the United States and American culture, where the two filmmakers travel around the country and they go visit vestiges of white America, black America, and Native Americans, Latin Americans that are living in the United States, and those that are seeking to be American by nationalization. All of these groups have one thing in common, that they are proud of their original heritage and hold on to it as part of their identity. Hence the prefix that everyone knows to be, where we always say African American, Latino American, Asian American. The differences are always enunced in how we describe ourselves and how we portray ourselves. This, again, is in stark contrast to what we see inside Mexico and Peru, where the leaders have strive to bring together people and try and eliminate what they would call any type of bias against anyone. We do understand that even though these things are said, each nation is still very much similar in the fact that they still look down on the black parts of their nations. We continue to see this concept that somehow being black inside these countries is something that needs to be moved away from and needs to be just put back. And the effort to become more of a white nation is always pronounced. In fact, the concept of the cosmic race is really a movement towards a whitening of sorts, because it means being something other than black. That leads me to my conclusion. One of the first pieces of literature that we read from Diversity Dialogue, the Deconstructing the Other, Otherization in the 21st Century. The concept basically is that in order for someone to be superior, you have to create an other to have to put down, to distance yourself, to have be beneath. We have seen a consistent theme where black people have been seen and African people have been seen as the other, no matter what culture we have talked about, whether or not it is the Dominican Republic, Cuba, Brazil. The concept and the connection to slavery has always been something that has marked black people as being the other and being something that has to be controlled, and that we are less than. And to give that concept of colonialism where because someone is less than, you are justified in doing what it is that you would like to do to them. My final thoughts and takeaway from the semester are that I thank God for people like Henry Louis Gates Jr., who during a time of turmoil had the tenacity and the bravery to go out and give a different picture of black people and African people throughout the world to us here in the United States, to show people that we are not less than, but we are more than what we have been told, and that there is greatness in all of us, and that there is nothing wrong with having pride from where you would come from, especially if you are black. Thank you.